My name is Zahyr Lauren. I'm an artist, human historian, and what I like to call a space architect. To someone who's never experienced my art, I think I would describe it as an attempt through space and color to really breathe into what it means for me to be a part of the Black community. It is hard for me when folks are like, oh, it's abstract art, or it's this type of art, or it's that type of art. And I think it's hard for me because I didn't come from the arts community. So the lingo and the putting things in a box, that type of stuff doesn't really work for me. But I think I would describe it as a visual experience that I want you to feel. I'm from San Jose, California. I come from a strong Black Southern matriarchy. I'm very proud of my lineage. My grandmother, who recently passed, Clementine Smith, she came from Depew, Oklahoma. My grandmother, in her teen years, shepherded herself and I think it was 12 brothers and sisters from Depew, Oklahoma to Richmond, California on the train. So, you know, a lot of little young Black ducklings coming by themselves across country, I think is an amazing story. I started being interested in math really young, and it just has always been something that I found to be so beautiful. The way math is structured is essentially, you know, you have your equation at the top, and then as you break down those problems, it kind of has this beautiful symmetry and it turns into these triangles. There's so many signs and symbols that are wispy and otherworldly. All along the way, there have been Black folks in my realm who have just been like, you're good at this, keep doing this. In high school, I did trig, geometry of course, algebra. I did abstract algebra, multivariable calculus. I let it go in college, and I think that was more because I realized that I wanted to work with people more than I wanted to be in a lab or, you know, crunching numbers. The legal field was attractive to me because I have a very beloved family member who at a very early age found himself at the end of a police gun. And when he came home and he made it out alive of that interaction, I was 13. And I remember being infuriated. To this day, it just makes me so angry because this is somebody that we came so close to losing. And so from then on, I started to really investigate what I could do to be a kind of protective measure for my community. And so I started studying things like I studied the Black Panther Party, particularly the women in the Black Panther Party, because there's not a lot that comes out about them. So everybody in this country, generally people think like how it's on TV. You go in, you got your attorney goes with you to court. That's not how it works if you don't have any money. And that's what made me want to go to law school. So I went to Northeastern University Law, took the bar in New York, and was an attorney in New York for a couple years. I was working with folks living in poverty who were overwhelmingly Black and Latinx and indigenous. From the age of 13, when I really understood what it meant to be skin color Black and have a family that's skin color Black, it consistently, since I was young, has meant suffering. In various different ways, poverty, incarceration, houselessness, all these different things. And so, you know, it really sat with me that this is not an accident. It's just not, it can't be, because it's too consistent. What happened to me was that because of the stress and trauma that I had experienced in this country and doing the jobs I was doing and living as myself, I lost my ability to walk about 2 years into being an attorney. Quite literally, my right leg just gave out. I couldn't get up without extreme pain. I couldn't do anything. And that was scary because I was 29. And so I'm thinking, man, am I like forever not about to be able to walk now? During that time, I discovered through drawing a card for a friend that the stress and the trauma and everything I was experiencing was kind of just evaporated. And so I had these moments of solace and just freedom in my own mind. And so I started to do that obsessively. So I would get up in the morning, draw for several hours before work, come home, draw for another multiple hours after work, every day, every day, every day. And something chemically, I think, happened for me because there was no release for what I had seen and what I had been living up until that time. And so once I started drawing, there was a release, which I think for me meant everything. The drawing for me and the painting is so important that in my lifetime now, very important people in my family, when I pursue new opportunities, their first question is not how much you're gonna make, it's will you have time to draw? The natural world influences everything I do. When I'm listening to things, a lot of times I'll listen to music that has the sounds of trees in the background or water. The natural world has a way of producing patterns. The natural world is like the craziest geometry. There's nothing better than natural geometry. I mean, whether you're talking about Fibonacci function and how that influences pineapples and the shape of like all kind of different things, seashells. Take a leaf off of anything outside right now, you'll see a very distinct patterning there. It's fascinating to me, and it always has been, so I do take a lot of natural elements and put them in these pieces. There's a piece that I have that I started on February 23rd, a few years ago. And I'm doing that piece and I'm thinking about the beauty of youth. And it's a turtle because my godchild really loved turtles at the time. So I'm putting all that in here. About a month later, I find out February 23rd is the same day that Ahmaud Arbery was murdered. So then it becomes a meditation on his mother and the safety of the rest of his family. And then I find out about a month after that Breonna Taylor is murdered. So then it became a meditation on Breonna Taylor and her family and the beauty of Black women. And so there are diamonds in that piece all around the border. Each one of those 28 diamonds are representations of 28 Black women who've been murdered by police. And so for me, these are all diamonds taken from us. These are all, the value of these people will never be known because they've been taken from us. What they could have done for our community has been taken from us. And so for me, it's a matter of sitting down and capturing the spirit and the energy and the resilience of a people in as beautiful way as possible. I want our spirits to feel adorned. I want us to be able to be going through this stuff and to look at these pieces and feel uplifted. There's a certain human story that has actually happened in this country that people refuse to acknowledge. And so what that does is it makes it so that we're supposed to just move about the cabin as if everything is completely equal and equitable and not acknowledging anything that's happened. And without any anger, just look how far you've gotten, just, be quiet now. This type of thing, when there's so much still happening, when there's so much inequity. And I feel like it is of critical importance for all children to know the true human story of this country. I feel like when we see things starting to repeat, because the human story is not actually being taught. And so the point for me is acknowledging that full human experience and doing the work that I need to do to uplift the spirit of what it means to overcome what we've been through and to still be here.
Zahyr will be selling prints and limited edition patches at their annual Juneteenth sale, opening June 19th and running through July 17th. Preview the work on Instagram and on Zahyr's website, cororulesthesun.inc.